The studio buzzed with the electric hum of anticipation, cameras swiveling, lights blinding, the audience leaning forward in collective suspense. It was a morning that promised civility, but the air crackled with something else, an undercurrent of confrontation. Whoopi Goldberg, her voice sharp as a blade, cut through the chatter with a remark that instantly set the room on edge. Laughter and gasps collided as the words landed like a thunderclap. The camera swung toward Jason Momoa, expecting tension, expecting a flinch, but there was none. He sat, calm and unshaken, his gaze steady, the embodiment of quiet strength. His posture radiated a kind of unspoken authority, the kind only someone who has faced real storms could carry. Murmurs cascaded through the crowd. Even the crew exchanged astonished glances. It was a moment suspended in time, hero versus villain, arrogance versus integrity, chaos versus composure. What Jason Momoa said next left the entire live audience stunned, and the internet erupted in disbelief. Clips began trending before the segment even ended. Hashtags lighting up feeds as viewers tried to process what they had just witnessed. But this was only the beginning. Tensions were about to explode. The tension in the studio wasn't just about a clash of personalities, it was a collision of principles. The debate had begun innocuously, touching on celebrity responsibility and cultural sensitivity, but it had quickly escalated. Whoopi Goldberg, sharp-tongued and fearless, pushed every button she could find, questioning intentions, motives, and even public perception. Jason Momoa, known for his advocacy and outspoken authenticity, refused to rise to provocation. Every pause, every glance, every carefully measured word carried weight. This wasn't mere entertainment. It was a moment that mirrored larger conversations across the country about respect, identity, and the way those in the spotlight shaped the values of millions. The stakes were immense. A single misstep could define reputations, shift public opinion, and ignite waves of discourse across social media. Everyone watching knew that what happened next would define the rest of the conversation, and social media was already buzzing, fingers poised over keyboards, trending hashtags forming before the words had even left the studio. The cameras captured it all, the subtle tightening of a jaw, the audience holding their collective breath, the space between words charged with anticipation. As the tension simmered, the audience could feel the storm about to break. Whoopi Goldberg was no stranger to the spotlight, a legend of stage and screen. Her career spanned decades, from her breakthrough performances to her unmistakable presence on television. Sharp-witted, fearless, and unfiltered, she had built a persona that commanded attention. Audiences admired her candor, but critics often bristled at her audacity. She had a history of speaking her mind, of cutting through niceties with a well-aimed remark that could sting as much as it entertained. Over the years, she had become both a cultural icon and a lightning rod. Her every comment dissected, debated, and debated again. There had been moments when her sharp tongue ignited controversy, comments about politics, celebrity scandals, or social issues that split public opinion. Each incident reinforced a pattern. Goldberg was confident to the point of arrogance, unafraid to challenge anyone, anywhere, at any time. Social media had long tracked her feuds, turning them into trending topics, viral debates, and endless think pieces. From celebrity spats to heated interviews, her reputation was cemented as someone who could dominate a conversation with authority and, at times, unyielding force. Yet beneath the bravado lay a performer honed by decades of experience, someone skilled at reading the room, gauging reactions, and pushing buttons to provoke engagement. That combination of wit, experience, and confidence made her formidable, a figure who could unsettle even the most composed opponents. It was why audiences tuned in, not just for the story, but to see how she would navigate each verbal battlefield, each calculated moment of tension. And yet, in all her experience, all her years of commanding attention and sparking debates, there was a force she had yet to fully reckon with, a presence calm, grounded, and unwavering, a hero whose moral compass and authentic strength could not be rattled by arrogance or bluster, but even the most seasoned commentators weren't prepared for the force they were about to encounter. Jason Momoa wasn't born into privilege. His path had been carved through resilience, persistence, and a refusal to compromise his values. From his early days in Honolulu to his breakthrough roles on screen, he faced rejection, skepticism, and the pressures of an industry that often valued image over authenticity. Each setback only strengthened him, instilling a quiet determination that would become his hallmark. Those who followed his journey knew him not just as an actor, but as a voice for the marginalized, a champion for environmental causes, and a man unafraid to stand by his convictions, no matter the cost. His career trajectory was a testament to perseverance. Roles that demanded both physicality and emotional depth showcased a rare blend of charisma and authenticity. Yet it wasn't the fame that defined him, it was his unwavering moral compass. On set, in interviews, and in the public eye, Momoa consistently demonstrated integrity, refusing to allow ego or spectacle to dictate his choices. Whether advocating for indigenous rights, speaking on climate change, or supporting immigrant communities, his actions reflected a deeper sense of purpose, to use his platform responsibly and to remain grounded in truth. What set Momoa apart was not only his accomplishments, but the way he carried himself under pressure. Calm, measured, and observant, he had the rare ability to diffuse tension with composure while simultaneously commanding respect. Those who had witnessed him in public debates or interviews recognized a rare combination, a hero who could be both approachable and formidable, empathetic yet unshakable. His poise was the product of lived experience, a life tempered by challenges, and a commitment to values that extended far beyond personal gain. It was this combination of integrity, composure, and moral clarity that made him uniquely prepared for what was about to unfold. The confrontation would demand every ounce of his patience, wisdom, and presence of mind. Every word, every glance, every pause would carry weight, not just for the audience watching in real time, but for millions observing online. And now, all of Momoa's experience, poise, and integrity would be put to the ultimate test. The conversation, once tense but contained, now ignited into full-blown confrontation. Whoopi Goldberg leaned forward, her eyes flashing with intensity, delivering lines that cut through the studio like a sharpened blade. Each word was precise, calculated to provoke, to unsettle. "Do you even understand the weight of what you're saying?" she challenged, her tone equal parts incredulous and biting. Gasps rippled through the audience, some leaning forward in anticipation, others exchanging wide-eyed glances, uncertain if this exchange would remain civil. Jason Momoa remained serene, his posture unyielding, his voice calm yet firm. Every answer was deliberate, measured, a careful balance of clarity and restraint. "I'm not here to fight," he replied, eyes steady. "I'm here to speak truth." His words cut through the rising tension, not with volume, but with authenticity. The contrast was stark, Goldberg's sharp, reactive energy clashing against Momoa's grounded composure. Cameras captured every subtle shift, the tightening of a jaw, the flicker of a smirk, the collective intake of breath. Murmurs swelled into audible anticipation. Social media screens lit up as viewers at home tweeted in real time, fragments of dialogue echoing across platforms. Every pause, every carefully weighted sentence heightened the suspense. It wasn't just a debate, it was a performance of character, a battle of integrity versus arrogance, of measured dignity versus calculated provocation. As the verbal volley continued, the studio seemed to shrink, the lights brighter, the air thicker, charged with the unspoken understanding that something decisive was about to occur. The room fell silent, every eye fixed on what Momoa would do next. Jason Momoa inhaled slowly, the studio lights casting a soft glow across his face, steadying his presence in a room that had become electrically charged. The audience leaned forward instinctively, sensing that the moment to witness something extraordinary had arrived. Goldberg's confidence, sharp and commanding just moments ago, seemed to falter ever so slightly, her eyes narrowing as if bracing herself for an unexpected strike. Momoa's voice, calm but resolute, cut through the tension. "It's easy to point fingers, to cast judgment without listening. But the real responsibility is in understanding, in empathy, and in truth." The pause that followed was cinematic. a silence so thick it seemed to press against the walls. Goldberg shifted uncomfortably, caught in the rhythm of someone who refused to escalate, but commanded presence simply by refusing to retreat. The audience murmured, the collective inhale of anticipation palpable, as Momoa continued, weaving logic with emotion, reminding everyone of the stakes, integrity, respect, and the power of measured words over reckless provocation. "We are here," he said, voice unwavering, "not to humiliate, not to entertain division, but to honor what unites us, what elevates us, and what holds us accountable to our values." Each phrase landed like a carefully aimed strike, exposing cracks in Goldberg's previously unassailable armor. The audience gasped, whispers of agreement blending with astonishment. Commentators in the back rooms watching feeds already typed rapidly, "Momoa calm, As truth wins, hero vs villain." Tweets began to trend. Screenshots of his composure shared with captions praising dignity over aggression. Memes emerged, not mocking, but celebrating the rare spectacle of authenticity, triumphing in a world so often dominated by theatrics. Goldberg's sharpness wavered. Subtle shifts in posture, brief hesitations, and a fleeting look of disbelief betrayed her momentary loss of command. The contrast between the flustered villain and the composed hero was now undeniable. Every word Momoa uttered seemed to elevate him further, not just in the studio, but across the digital landscape, where millions absorbed the gravity of the exchange. And then came the crescendo. A final, deliberate statement, encapsulating logic, moral clarity, and emotional resonance all at once. The audience erupted not in laughter, not in mockery, but in applause that felt earned, authentic, and unanimous. Goldberg, momentarily silenced, could only adjust her expression, acknowledging in some unspoken way that the tide had shifted. Cameras panned, capturing the stunned awe, the rising admiration, and the sense that something historic had just occurred. The backlash was instantaneous, and it would ripple far beyond the studio. The moment the segment ended, the world seemed to pause. Screens lit up with notifications as millions of viewers processed what had just unfolded. Hashtags exploded across platforms. Momoa moment, integrity over arrogance, Whoopi vs. Momoa. Tweets dissected every pause, every word, and every glance, turning the exchange into a viral phenomenon before the studio lights had even dimmed. Memes celebrating Momoa's poise flooded feeds, side-by-side images of calm versus chaos, captions lauding dignity over provocation. Public debate ignited in comment sections, talk shows, and live streams. Anchors replayed clips, analysts dissected body language, and cultural commentators weighed in on what this confrontation revealed about power, responsibility, and the role of truth in public discourse. Celebrities joined the conversation, amplifying the moment. From heartfelt endorsements of Momoa's composure to broader discussions about accountability in media, the exchange became more than a fleeting headline. It became a touchstone for integrity. Social media users shared personal reflections, framing the debate as emblematic of the need for respect and empathy in polarized environments. Momoa's reputation surged, not merely as a screen icon, but as a symbol of authentic courage and moral clarity. Goldberg, for her part, faced scrutiny unlike any she had before. Analysts debated whether her sharpness had crossed into arrogance, while critics and fans alike revisited past controversies, creating a layered narrative of confidence, hubris, and the consequences of public misjudgment. Cinematically, the scene played like a study in contrasts. The villain confronted by the unshakable presence of the hero, the audience a living, breathing reflection of tension and admiration, the digital world echoing the same awe. The studio, once a battleground, now felt almost serene, as if the air itself had been cleared by the force of Momoa's measured words. The ripples extended far beyond those walls, sparking conversations about character, accountability, and the rare power of composure in a world that too often rewarded spectacle over substance. As the dust settled, the true message of this exchange became crystal clear. In the aftermath of the clash, Jason Momoa's calm authority became more than a performance. It became a lesson in dignity under pressure. He didn't need to escalate, shout, or retaliate. His composure spoke louder than any sharp remark, louder even than the flashing cameras and murmuring audience. The confrontation, once framed as a battle of personalities, now revealed itself as a testament to the power of measured truth, the kind that demands attention not through spectacle, but through integrity. Momoa's response reframed the moment for viewers everywhere. True strength lies in patience, in listening, and in speaking with clarity and purpose. It wasn't about winning an argument. It was about elevating the conversation, about modeling how individuals can confront arrogance without abandoning their own values. Across social media, discussions shifted from viral sound bites to reflections on character, resilience, and accountability. Audiences, particularly those who valued identity, inclusion, and empathy, found validation in seeing integrity triumph over provocation. The emotional crescendo of the moment wasn't a single line or mic drop. It was the ripple of understanding that radiated from hero to audience. Momoa's victory was not merely verbal, it was moral. A quiet triumph of character over chaos, of poise over reaction. In this space, viewers could see a blueprint for navigating their own conflicts, a reminder that dignity, patience, and truth are far more powerful than anger or spectacle. And so, the nation witnessed more than a celebrity feud. It witnessed a masterclass in integrity, a demonstration that composure and authenticity can illuminate the path even in moments of intense confrontation. The lesson was clear. Real power lies not in dominating others, but in embodying values worth following. The cameras faded from the studio, but the impact of that exchange lingered far beyond the lights and microphones. Whoopi Goldberg's sharp words had met an unshakable calm in Jason Momoa, a hero who reminded the world that integrity, patience, and truth carry more weight than any fleeting insult. From the heated sparks in the studio to the trending hashtags online, the story had become a cultural moment, one that demonstrated the power of composure and character in the face of provocation. This wasn't just a celebrity clash. It was a lesson for everyone watching. It showed that standing firm in your values, speaking with clarity, and responding with dignity can turn tension into triumph. Jason Momoa's poise became a mirror for viewers everywhere, encouraging reflection on how to handle adversity in daily life, in personal struggles, and in public discourse. If this story resonated with you, don't let it end here. Subscribe, share, and stand for integrity in your own life, because dignity always triumphs. Join the conversation, amplify the voices that inspire, and remember that every moment of composure creates ripples far beyond what the eye can see. The lesson is timeless. True strength is measured not by loudness, but by the courage to remain steadfast when it matters most.